Morning, Zoe. Morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm in lockdown. I am in lockdown. Kevin, my cameraman, is now my security guard. He's on the door. And, you know, it's tense times. It's tense times. Look, to be honest, I was a little bit surprised by Chris Waller's reaction. Because purely he almost sort of answered his own question, didn't he? He says, I suppose you're at the lunch to speak your mind, but you should, you know, basically say that Winx is just incredible. You know, it's sort of contradiction in terms. And it's, you know, I was the English person there. I was invited up on stage, and the question was, what do people back home think about Winx? Now, anyone who has watched At the Races over the last months and weeks knows that I sit there defending Winx left, right, and centre, and I say she's an amazing mare, etc., etc. But I just stood up there and said, look, the general consensus, and we know this on At the Races because we have a lot of people emailing and tweeting, etc., saying we don't think that she beats very much. So I got up there and basically said, look, the general consensus is that she doesn't beat very much. And I know that Tim Crowell's come in the studio and say, oh, well, I can dig out this horse or that horse. He can probably dig out 3 or 4 horses. But you know, digging out horses is actually totally irrelevant because you'd have to go through every single bit of that bit of form with a tooth comb to find out whether the horse you're just mentioning acted on the ground that day, that particular meeting take place. You know, just digging out names is totally and utterly meaningless. If some horse has finished a length and a half behind some other horse one day, it's totally irrelevant to the whole argument. Because to be honest, Zoe, we know factually, because the facts are out there, that there aren't very many horses that run in Australia rated over 120. That's just a simple fact. And, you know, the Australians just can't seem to take that at all. They just think Winx is the best horse on planet Earth. She is beating superstars every other week, and she's amazing. And if you say anything other than that, you're in big problems.
Matt, sometimes people may question your opinion, but your opinion is backed up by facts. But don't forget you're talking to the trainer, owner and fans of a national treasure.
Yeah, of course. But, you know, I'm not, I mean, look, put it like this. I went to Moonee Valley tonight. We were very lucky. We were helicoptered from the centre of Melbourne to the racecourse. And the Moonee Valley executive are delighted with everything that's going on. You know, Winx has never had so much publicity, and so they're all absolutely thrilled. I went to the Geelong Cup this afternoon to check out Withhold, and I saw Chris Waller there and the owner of Winx, who actually had a part interest in one of the horses in the Geelong Cup. And we all said hello, and we all smiled, and we pretended to kill each other, and then were smiling and hugging and shaking hands. So, look, it all sounds a lot worse on social media, I think, than the actual reality, as is always the case, because, you know, I could say to someone, you are the biggest you-know-what in the world, but have a wink and a smile on my face as I'm saying it. But if you put that in print on Twitter, it sounds like you really dislike the person. So it's all taken slightly out of context. But look, Chris Waller's a good bloke. He's done a tremendous job with Winx. But has Winx been beaten, being knocking against, like, real top-notchers? Well, the answer to that is no, Chris, she hasn't. And the problem we've got really this weekend, Zoe, is this. Winx will be no better horse on Sunday if she's won the Cox Plate than she is today. She will have done wonderful things. She will have made Australian racing history. The first horse ever to win 4 Cox Plates, and trust me, while it might be hard to compliment back home, that is a massive, massive, massive deal. Much bigger than Yates winning 4 Gold Cups or anything like that. It is huge. But if she beats Ben Battle and the rest this Saturday, she is no better than she is today.
OK, so just to G things up a little bit more, because we know that you like to, you don't really rate her opponent, her main opponent.
Look, it's not that I don't rate him, but he's currently rated £8 inferior of Winx, and Winx gets £4. So he's just been moved from 1-2-3 to 1-2-2, Ben Battle, despite his battling success the other day. So he's got £12 to find on paper, and he's the big danger. Well, you know, in a handicap, if you said, well, this thing's £12 well in, you would expect her to win. The other thing is she's probably better than her rating because of the way she races, a little bit like See the Stars never probably got a rating that he deserved. So, look, on paper, she should be an absolute good thing, and that's forgetting all the fact that, you know, Ben Battle isn't trained in Australia and is on foreign style, even though he won the other day. So it's a big, big ask for Ben Battle, and I fully expect Winx to win. But what I'm saying is, I'd like Ben Battle to just give us, you know, give us a gauge of how good. If she beats Ben Battle 15 lengths, I'm happy to accept that maybe she is this super mare, but it's hard to believe that any horse aged 7 could be all dominant for over 3 years and nothing come along at all to beat her. And let's just remind Chris Waller that in Australia he has the big danger to Winx, and he won't even run that horse against her Saturday. He's chickened out of taking on his superstar. Why has he done that?
Of course, because he needs Winx to win this. And, you know, I struggle with that 7-year-old factor as well, because some of us do get better with age. But 7 years of age, being an absolute superstar and proving that she's the absolute best at that age, I think it's very hard to sustain. You're
absolutely right, Zoe. And what it is, it once again exaggerates the weakness of the division, particularly over 1.25 miles. Not quite so much over 7.5 miles, but over 1.25 miles, Australian racing is Winx. Best Solution won the Caulfield Cup. Best Solution is not a horse that we all crazy about back home, even though he's won a good race at Newmarket and he was really good in Germany. But he had to go to Germany to win his Group 1. You know, he's not a horse any of us wake up in the morning over in England and say, oh, I can't wait to watch Best Solution today. Yeah, he's won the Caulfield Cup, which is one of the greatest middle-distance Australian races. And Giretto was in 4th place in that race, and we all know how difficult it is to win with Giretto in even Group 3 company back in the UK. So, you know, everything tells us that she is not beating superstars. But that doesn't mean that she's not a superstar. I've never said she's not a superstar. What I've said is it's about time someone gave a real good throw at sort of whipping her backside a little bit. And let's see what she's made of. Let's be having her. This is sport. Let's get really stuck into her. Let's challenge her. Let's see what she's made of. Let's not run away from the challenge. And remember, those on track at Moonee Valley have chosen the field. They've chosen the field. This is a race that could have 14 runners in it, and they've decided only 8 can run.
Yeah, well, let's hope Kevin, the cameraman's there, beefed up with some security to help him, because you are on dangerous turf. Enjoy it, Matt.